These are the communion wafer cups. Look at this clever design. It's the juice, and then it
like a
has the wafer.
thing.
The wafer tab is on the top. You peel the top off.
I have to look at that. You're really getting into the.
Yeah, peel it off. Show. Yeah, I'll show
the
you.
hands are...
Here, then hold this. Here, I'll do. So I'm gonna put down my beautiful flout. Good mother, you just help me be the YouTubes, huh?
To say I don't want. I guess the orchid too.
Alright, look at how clever this is. You peel off the top part. There, I got you one.
Oh, I just say, did you take communion?
Yeah, wait. And there's the little wafer. You're not getting your plate.
No, it's too much. So it's little grape juice. Little grape juice and...
Say a prayer for me. What do you think the prayer should be?
No, it's to... Having communion is to remember Jesus died, what he did for us. The drink is his blood.
It says a thing on here.
That's his blood, and the bread is his body. So,
well, this is my body, which broken for your
for your sins.
It looks like this cat.
Huh?
To this in remembrance of me.
Yeah. Do this in remembrance of me.
Do this.
He said that on the Last Supper that he had with his disciples.
Are you gonna do it next or me? Alright. No.
Do it.
Well, sprinkles from my large yogurt.
Mix it with the yogurt.
What is it? You're supposed to chew it first?
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, because they ate the bread first and then they drank the
little juice.
I would love the little juice. They gave it to us in little tiny...
Why don't they put the wine in?
Glasses.
Why don't they do it with wine? Isn't it supposed to be wine?
Well, any kind of drink would work, But
alright, here's yours.
Did that say it on it?
Hey, you have yours too.
No, I just picked
yours is actually written better.
It just flew in here. I didn't need it. It just flew out of my hand.
It's alright, you have one too.
One's the light.
Look at your pinky. I need to redo your pink. It says, do this in remembrance of me. Eat my crackers, and think of the Lord. Eat my yogurt, and think of the Lord. Isn't that so pretty? That's so pretty. I was just saying how, I'm just becoming the food person. And it was all about, to the service day, it was all about having manna in the desert and people that were fasting and hungry, and here I am being a big glutton all the time.
Well, it was Moses that led the slaves out of captives. They were slaves, It
was all about trusting him in the hard times.
And, Moses had life of Riley. He was,
and he'll bring you out in your time.
That's exactly right. Because Moses' mother could not keep him because they said that they were going to kill all the firstborn children, so to keep the population down and stuff. And it said that Moses found out that the Lord told them that if they put blood over the door
the streak,
then the angels will pass over them. The child will live. So the believers in the group, they did that,
I won't say anything bad.
But,
All right, and it was happy ending. Okay.
well, what happened was that was going to happen to Moses back when he was born, and his mother put him in the little basket and floated him down the river
Aww.
because she wanted to hide him. She wanted him to live.
Floated him down the
Yeah, so
river.
she was hoping that somebody'd find him, and you know, then he wouldn't have to die. And then, sure enough, who found him? It's Pharaoh's wife. She was down at the creek, and that basket went floating by. She heard the baby crying, and she ran out to get it, and she was she's keeping this baby.
Aww.
And
What would you do if you saw a baby floating down the river?
keep it.
You'd keep it? You make it your baby?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, back then,
You wouldn't bring it somewhere? You just go, this is my baby now? You wouldn't say, hey, did anybody lose a baby?
Well,
You'd go, this is my baby.
I would think if it's floating in the river, somebody didn't want it.
Aww, that's so cute.
But, well, anyway, so
Not if you were looking for your baby, though.
Pharaoh's wife found the baby, and so they raised the baby as their own. But really, there's, what are they? Well, I guess Egyptians, they were their, they were the slaves to the can't even think of what I'm trying to say. But anyway, there's a kingdom, and they needed to. All the slaves had to build his kingdom and his towers and his every lavish thing, all the pyramids and everything. And there's thousands of them. They were all held, hostage by him. Kind of, they had no luxury, no food, no. I mean, they were treated, so terrible, and they didn't want to be there, but they had no choice because they were owned by, you know, Pharaoh and his kingdom. So, and then he would decide what he wants made, how it's supposed to look and all that. Well, Moses was, he had the best schooling and all because he was raised by the king,
Mm-hmm.
He had it all. And he was going to be passed, pass the torch to the new, when one king dies and the son firstborn gets, just kind of like how Prince Harry and William.
Mm-hmm.
But so even though he wasn't biological son, he, the dad planned on making him the king. Well, Moses come to find out that one of the maids told Moses that he was an Egyptian. He really was not. His mother was really a slave, poor and all that. And when he found all that out, he thought, these are my people. Here I am. These are my people that are being held slave, by my dad,
Mm-hmm.
stepdad. And so he did not want to. He wanted to be out there with his people because that was really his life, was to be the slave, and he was just lived a privileged life, nothing to do with his own power, but
Mm-hmm.
so he didn't want he didn't want to be treated special or anything. He just wanted to be one of them. It's like, forget who I am. I'm going out to my people. And then he learned a lot being out there with them. Saw how poor and they struggled and did without, and so he became the advocate for them. And the Lord would give him messages through like the burning bush and stuff, and so he was like the leader of them all out there. And people say, why are you leaving your kingdom to come out here with us? Almost like it's he was being I don't know, like a martyr, going out there like here I'm gonna suffer with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Then so the Lord, was speaking to him and told him all the things that he needed to do to get the people free, because they weren't going to let all these slaves go, and they were dying left and right and stuff because they had no food, no nothing. So he Moses planned to, or the Lord told Moses to go out there and uh, oh gosh, something he killed or he was blamed for killing somebody, but he really didn't do it. Anyway, so the king said, "I'll set you free and your people,
Mm-hmm.
but you just get out of here, you go out," because he had built this beautiful kingdom, built a community, had everything, but the outside of those gates was this wasteland. It was desert, terrible, uh, just nothing, no luxuries at all. It was just sand, for miles and miles. Well, we learned later that what would have taken them 11 days to get to the promised land took them 40 years.
That's what they were talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what.
Took them 40 years because the Lord
How did
saw
you know?
how ungrateful they were. He fed them and everything. The manna from the sky would fall, but they complain about it. Even though it's like, this is from me. I'm giving you something to eat. Otherwise, there's nothing out here. So, they would eat it, but they were going, we want something else, like it's spoiled. It's like there's nothing to, you take it or be grateful.
People are like that.
Yeah,
I've
yes.
been like
So
that.
their true self came out, and that is exactly why the Lord, He made it so that they didn't get to where they're going because they all started fighting amongst each other and stuff, and they were like throwing like wild parties and stuff.
Sounds fun though.
Getting out of hand,
Uh-oh.
and all the men were after the girls and stuff, But he was.
How about can you do all that? You praise the Lord while you're doing it.
Well, they weren't though. They were just doing it and not caring, and they were cursing him really. And then, since there was the division between like a civil war, they, half the people, the unbelievers, that said, they're going, oh well, we're going to make our own God. Moses has his God, but we're going to make our own. So they
the calf.
The golden calf, and they melted down everything and put it up high to be, bowed down to and all. Well, Moses went up into the mountains, so the Lord wanted him to separate himself from them. So when he went up to the mountains, the Lord gave him the 10 Commandments, So, and he was up there for a long time because he said he cut right back, but he didn't. He was up there for like a month. And they were all waiting for him to come down. They're going, we think he's dead up there. So that's when they got out of hand again, They did their own thing. There was no kind of structure. And so Moses finally did come down. And he looked totally different. He had totally gray hair. He went up there all young and, dark hair.
Yeah.
Anyway, the children come down the mountain with gray hair. And it was from, like, up there seeing the Lord. He changed it. I don't know. I just watched it. That's how it was in the movie, anyway.
They were laughing at that.
He was. Anyway, he had all this important stuff to tell them, and they were out of hand. And he yelled. And he said, "What's wrong with you people? The Lord has me doing some important. These are the commandments I have, and what He expects of us." And
man, the 10 Commandments are already hard for they're impossible for even a perfect person or somebody that's really trying to be good. So you
Yeah.
send a bunch of people like that, they're probably like, what in the world?
Yeah, it's like they, it was hard for them because they were, stealing each other's stuff, and while they're partying, they're in there looking through their stuff and grabbing their wife or something. And anyway, so they didn't really want to hear the rules. So Moses said, whoever wants to come with me, because I'm taking you to the promised land, or you can stay here and just, die eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they were led kind of all over the place. And then, and then the Red Sea parted so they could get out of there, get out of Egypt to go into the new promised land that the Lord promised that they would, get there. If once a slave were free, he would take them to the promised land, which is the land of milk and honey,
Mm-hmm.
Right, after they left the kingdom, though, it was a desert until they got to over the hill. And that was the hard part. And they kept going round and round and just not making it there. And so 40 years they had the manna and all that. And the Lord just was like, oh, forget you guys. You just wanted to just destroy everybody. But he knew that Moses, was going to lead them there eventually. The ones that are meant to be there. And then, so anyway, the believers, followed Moses, and this is a long journey, and then and God parted this Red Sea, and then they just went right through, all of them just walked right through, like they went, opened up, and there was a path, and then the guys, the guards in the kingdom were coming after people because they were set free, but if they were caught again or they didn't want to go, they would get them, put them back in the slave days. They were still needed. And then so the Lord let them get through, and then they all made it. And then as soon as they stepped on, the last person stepped on the solid
Midterm back.
Then you see all the guards and the horses and chariots.
Wasn't it shown that? Well, I kind of feel sorry for all of them.
Well, they all ended up dying.
I know, I don't like it. I just
know they were no good. They were corrupt.
I'm no good though, Mommy. I'm no good.
None of us are. None of us are any good. That's the way it is. None of us are worthy.
Mommy, look, you're so cute and you're so into it.
My word.
This taught me everything I know, and because you're so passionate about it, it's infectious.
Well, I just learned it at the
I know,
church.
But the way your heart is in the Lord and just everything about it, you're so just into it. Like, that's why I care, you're a great...
I just watched the Ten
You're
Commandments
great
on TV, that's how I know.
It's not, though. You love it. You lavish it all these years of your life.
Yeah,
well, and it shows, that kind of affection for it, it comes out because you seem, you don't see you're good, is that what you would be, a pastor? If you're good up there, a preacher? Preacher? What would you call it? Well, I don't know. You should be. Well, then you're a good messenger. Because it's not like you're saying I think that you just say it in a sweet way too. You're just like full of like, and it's just like, I don't know. It has a special quality to it. I want to film you telling me more stories.
Anyway, so then what happened is they eventually did get through, and the Red Sea, drowned all the people, all the ones that was going to come after him, drowned in the ocean. Anyway, so then they were going up the hill, which is a big journey, and then they were almost there. And then Moses says he can't go on. He says, I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to go over here. And, and then he gave his friend, or his brother, stepbrother, the go ahead to go finish taking them the rest of the way, because the Lord said that that was his job was to get them to the promised land. But Moses the Lord didn't allow Moses to even see. Well, no, he did get to see what he was ready to have, but that was all he got to do. To see it, he never got to get.
What?
Yeah, the
That's
Lord
not very nice.
He died after, he died on the hill.
Mommy, that's a terrible story.
No, it's not. Because
yeah, it is. He didn't even get to enjoy the fruits of his labor.
Yeah, well, he did.
Oh yeah.
But he did what the Lord asked of him because he.
Well, he got the gift of knowing that all those people got there.
Yeah, and those were his people.
Yeah, that's a.
And that's why it says.
That's nice.
That song, Pharaoh, let my people go, let my people go. So they were, chanting that. So Pharaoh gave him that. He normally wouldn't, but because that was his son that he loved dearly, but really wasn't his son, that broke his heart. That he didn't want to stay because he was willing to give him everything.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't want it, and because he knew that wasn't his life, and that wasn't what he's called to do. So that was his calling, was to get the people out and to lead them to the promised land, which is this. When you look at the desert and it was all tumbleweeds and nothing, just rocks and sand and nothing, hot wind and all, and then when they got up that hill and then they were looking, it was like green, birds singing and tweeting and river flowing. I mean, it was just like looking at Yosemite or something. It's just a gorgeous place. Like there's not going to be enough doing without. And it was heaven on earth, But then Moses died, and then they were led the rest of the way, and that's where it ended.
Aww, that's sad and sweet.
Yeah, that's this. But so many were left behind. And
I guess he's going straight to the Lord. So I guess he's enjoying everything.
Was coming to him in different ways.
It would be really nice to know that your efforts were.
Yeah, and the Lord would come to him, in fire and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He would speak through that because the Lord can't be seen, has never been seen, So he would have to come in ways that he, so that he knew it was him.
I love that he had to come in ways that he probably thought did he know? Like, I feel like you ever feel like sometimes you feel Lord and then you start thinking, well, did I though? Like, am I just a crazy person? If you saw a bush on fire, wouldn't you think you're a crazy person? You'd probably sense that it was the Lord, but you would probably start thinking, I must be crazy.
He would test the spirits, like, because, Satan was there just as well, But he would test the spirit, like he'd say, take the spear, just like a walking stick, and he said, and hold it up. When you hold it up, hold it up, and then to the people, so they don't see the cow, it'll stop them from worshiping the cow or something. So then you have to look it all back up. I can't think, but and then he said that if he threw down the stick, it would become a serpent, snake. Mm-hmm. So, he's told this. So when he went when the guards were coming after him to try to take him, he had his walking stick, and then they were coming after him. He threw the stick down at their feet, and the snake. After them, they all took off.
Oh my God! Wow!
And that was the Lord. The Lord said he'd do that. He said, "Throw the stick down." And you'll see that what I'm telling you. You'll see that I am who I say I am. So I mean, there was no doubt about it. Anyway, so that's the story of Moses.
I like the way you tell it, Mommy. Okay, we know all about it between you and that other pastor.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Well, if you watch Ten Commandments by Cecil B. DeMille, that version, my word, it's such a eye feast, you know?
Yeah.
So done so amazing.
It's a movie?
Yeah. It's a movie. It's, you know, out in the movie theaters back in the day. And I watched another version of it, which was just as good, but it was nowhere near the budget that they had. They had the lavish, you know, showing the kingdom. It was like the finest of silks and, you know, best that they had to give. And they, all the other people are trying to, you know, please the Lord or please the king. So they would bring all these gifts to him, and you know, he just added to his big collection of stuff. He's just very wealthy and powerful. And they always stayed the king. You just can't vote him out of office like you do here.
Mm-hmm.
They are there for life, you know. And it passes down to the next generation and all. Anyway, that's the Old Testament's amazing. So many stories. It's just, I mean, you think that you're reading science fiction when you just to hear the stories. Like Peter walking on water when Jesus was out in the storm, you know, the boat. They're in the boat and he's looking out and someone's coming at him. It's like,
yeah, that's a good one.
And yeah, I mean, can you imagine seeing Jesus walking across water? And then he's saying, Lord, is that you? He was scared because he thought it was a ghost. He says, it's me. You come to me. Stepping out, and then he started walking, and then he got scared, and then he looked down.
And then he sang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think of that a lot.
It's because his faith, you know,
it's like his logic.
Gone. Yeah. Yeah, it's like reality set in. It's like, Lord said, that's how we've got to trust him completely. Otherwise, if you think that, you know, you still have the fear of your own thoughts, then that's showing that you're not fully trusting him. And it was him in the flesh looking right at him, you know.
That's good. That's good. It's a good place to end it.
Yeah, okay. Bye.
Who are you? Who are you?
I'm just an angel from the Lord.
You certainly are. What's your name, Angel?
My name's Angel. Road Angel.
Road Angel.
Rhoda.
Rhoda
calls Angel was Road Angel.
Believe Rhonda. Look at.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Steer your own.
No.